Hi, everyone. Thanks for coming tonight to Night Owl. Go ahead and have a seat. I'm going to have, before we start, I'm going to invite Cynthia up to say a few words about Artichoke. So.
Thank you. I'm going to pick this up. There we go. Thanks. Okay, I want to welcome you all. So it's great to see you all. Thank you so much for coming out tonight and joining us. We're always curious to know if this is a first time for anyone here at the Artichoke. Anyone here for the first time? All right. We love to see the first timers, and we encourage you to check out the wonderful events at Artichoke and make sure this is not your last time. We want to see you again, and your friends and your families. We want to see you pack this place. Okay. Anyone from out of town? Are you mostly local from Portland? Mostly local. Okay. And have you all been to, so Night Owl, I think this is the second Night Owl gathering evening, but have a couple of you been to Night Owl before? Or you know Renee from other things? Okay. Couple, but mostly new. Yeah. All right. Well, I'll tell you just a tiny bit about Artichoke. We are a nonprofit. We're here to support the music scene, the music industry, musicians here in Portland at all levels. We provide classes in our school for folks learning music. We offer sound circles and jams, for example, for kind of middle-level musicians. And then in our venue, we often bring really accomplished musicians to Portland for you all to come and enjoy. So we support folks at all levels of their musical journey, and we're happy to do that. We are supported by a bunch of volunteers, as well as staff, too. So tonight we've got Leah here. Leah's our director. She's helping you at the bar. Yay, Leah! And Shay is doing sound and video. Pretty amazing. Usually does video, but tonight she's doing everything. And my name is Cynthia, and I'm a volunteer here as well. And so we are a 501c3. We do bring in a little bit of earned income, but we really depend on donated income from our friends and supporters. So I want to encourage you to think of Artichoke when you're thinking of great places to donate, that we are a really worthy recipient of your donated funds, and it really helps us keep the lights on and the music flowing. We wouldn't be here without you. I want to thank anyone who's here who already donates to Artichoke. Thank you very, very much. It means a lot to us for sure. In terms of our volunteer crew, we're always looking for additional skilled volunteers, particularly sound and video, but other skills as well. So if any of you are interested in volunteering here at Artichoke, you can talk to me later in the evening or talk to any of the other Shay or Leah or anyone you bump into. A little bit of housekeeping, the usual stuff, silence your phones. There are 3 bathrooms. Do you need to hear about the bathrooms? I guess maybe there are now 2.5 bathrooms because one of them is a little bit on the blink, but I'll go fix it. But there's one here, not so good during the show, and 2 out the back curtains. To the left, you'll see one at the back of the store. That's the one that's a little bit on the fritz, and one up the stairs. Mostly just have a wonderful evening and learn a lot from each other, from Renee, from Rachel. And come back often. Thanks.
Thank you so much, Cynthia. Wow, what a nice crowd. This is awesome. We a few more than last time. So this is just our second Night Owl. I'm going to go through sort of what we're doing tonight and kind of explain what this is a little bit. If you were here last time, sorry if you've heard this already, but I do think it's important to reiterate for new people. And so basically I'm going to talk about what Night Owl is. I'm going to say, why we're here tonight, or at least why I'm here and why some of you have shared with me as well. And then talk a little bit about the survey results from last time. And I'm going to interview Rachel. talk about our topic inside the boys club tonight. And then afterwards, we'll have an open discussion. So what I would like that to look like is a little different from last time. Last time I sat on stage with the person I interviewed. If you came to see Kylene King last time, we had a great time. But I think I want to just be like down on the floor with y'all and just have an open conversation, and not necessarily ask questions. Like, I just want us to really talk to each other, because I think that's like a big part of what I want to happen here. So, and then we'll have a chance to talk, just network, mingle, or whatever afterwards. So just wanted to give you guys a heads up on what's happening and stuff. So what is Night Owl? Here's the description. So from booking and finding work to gigging and managing mental health, etc., women and gender expansive music professionals experience shared barriers to success and are still wildly underrepresented in the industry. So we deserve a collaborative, peer-designated space where we can feel safe and supported to navigate our careers. And so let's challenge the systems that work against our success and reimagine more sustainable, equitable business models for us in music. So that's the description I have right now. And why do I want to do this? My pronouns are she, they. I still actually do refer to myself as a woman, but I'm very much in the queer community. I feel like I'm a genderqueer, express very genderqueer. And this is my community. I care a lot about it, and I just think it's absolutely silly that how underrepresented we are, and the discrimination that still goes on. There are people in this room and people I've talked to, older friends of mine that have done this work since the 70s. It's not a new thing, and I'm not going to pretend that we're going to fix everything in this room. So, but I do want to say that I do see this as a solutions-focused room. I would like to focus on things that we can do in the smallest of ways. With each other and connect with each other so that we can build something, here in Portland, or, even if it's just two of us getting together and doing something small. That's what I want to see here, more people in this identity group getting together and strengthening relationships. So, so a little bit about me. So I basically have been in a lot of all women tribute bands. I'm in a David Bowie tribute band called Major Tomboys right now. And I've, just pretty much played with women and gender expansive and queer people almost only. There have been a few exceptions, but it's just been important to me that that the people I play with were in that community. And so that's just something that I've just learned to do because I want to support others in this community. But some of the things that, I'll keep going about what I want here. So I want to strengthen relationships in the community. I want to get to know each other's strengths so we can help each other. And I want there to be a reliable network to support each other and help each other survive in the industry. I want us to collaborate to achieve creative solutions for breaking through barriers. And this one's particularly something I love, is imagine new industry models that value the artist's work and well-being, which I feel like is something we should be doing in this group, in this room with these identifying people. So, and then yes, I said solution-oriented. So that's why I'm here. I know some of y'all echoed that. I wanted to talk about I have a survey. I don't know if you saw it, but it's a launch survey. So I had it in the first one, but I thought I'd bring it back, especially because mostly new people are here tonight. I would love to hear from everyone about what you want out of this group. And then I know there are other groups that are similar, that other people that are doing doing like other music industry, women-focused or gender-expansive focused groups, and I want to know about them, and I want to be able to lift them up as well. I know, for instance, let's see, I know Clara has an engineering group. Maybe talk to her about that afterwards. And then, and what else am I thinking about? I have it written down. Oh yeah, tomorrow night. That's exactly right. India just walked in. Tomorrow there's a women's open mic, and that's anyone who wants to do music or poetry, I believe. And that's at the same time, 6:30. Is that right? Doors at 6:30. So I guess sign-ups right then or whatever. Cool. So yeah, more of that. I would like to know more. I know there's more of those things. So please take the survey, write down wonderful groups you've been to, and let's connect with those groups because we don't have to do everything just us. I'd like to expand and strengthen the network. So I knew I wanted to staple this for a reason, but I didn't have a stapler. So where's my stapler? Reminders. I just wanted to say a couple things. Okay, so the guests I interview and myself do not claim to be experts here. I'm just doing this because I want to, because I care, and Rachel is too. And we're not experts. We're just people that care a lot and have been in the music industry and have seen some things. So I won't expect the guests to, like, if a guest is not gender expansive, if they don't have to speak as if they know everything about gender expansive people. I just want you to speak about what you know if you are a guest. So nobody's here to impress. We're just here. I've said last time that I'm not here to be the leader. I'm here to facilitate this conversation. So please, I hope that it can be an open conversation for you. And on that note, too, one more thing I wanted to bring up, and this is a tough one, but I also feel kind of strongly about it, but I'm also open-minded about it. But I want this to be a room where we can share about our experiences, and I want you to feel safe to be able to do that. I also thought about it, and I thought the most important thing for me is that this is solutions-oriented. So for me, being part of the Music Policy Council through Music Portland, now being called Music Oregon, by the way, I am more of an advocate. I'm like an advocacy person. I'm not, for instance, a group therapist. So, and I'm not saying that to be funny or anything. I'm saying that because I want to be just clear that this is not group therapy. And that's okay if you want to share something, and I am totally fine with that. I am open to that. However, what I do want is if we are solutions focused, I want anyone that's interested to be part of the solution to be in this room. And so I am not going to ask you your gender, first of all. It is a women and gender expansive group. I can't tell what your gender is by looking at you. I won't do that. And so I do want to say that, so I'm not going to ask anyone to leave or anything if you're not in the group. I do think that if you don't identify as a woman or gender expansive, just know that it's a forum for those identities, and let them have the floor, basically. So, yeah, and if you're not comfortable sharing around a particular person or whatever, then just use your own judgment. And if there's really a problem, just talk to me, I guess. But hopefully that won't be the case. So, but I do think that everybody is a part of the solution here. I think cis men need to change in order for these things to happen. For these things to change. And so to not have them in the room at times, then how will they know to change? And so that's just something I'm thinking about. And if y'all have anything you want to talk to me about afterwards about that, I appreciate that. So, but anyway, I just wanted to share a little bit of those survey results. Last time, there were about 8 of us that took it. I think there were 10 people in the room, so most people took it. I listed in the survey, I think it was maybe 10 or 11 issues that affect this particular identity group. And the top 3, which actually turned out to be the top 6 because there were ties, that people cared about the most were number 1, which did not tie, was discrimination, harassment, and abuse. So that was the absolute number 1 topic that people wanted to address in this room. So number 2 is insecure and precarious employment. Tying with number 2 was underrepresentation, especially in technical and leadership roles. Probably a good chunk of y'all know that, and this is a statistic from the women, Women's Audio Mission, that's right, from San Francisco, which some of you might know, actually. There's women and gender expansive people make up less than 5% of the engineers in at least the U.S. It's possible beyond that. So that is really abysmal, and that's one of the biggest reasons. It's one of the big reasons I'm here. So tying for number 3, we had 3 of them. Objectification and pressure around appearance or marketability was important. Recognition, credit, and visibility. It's a big one. And then also tying for number 3, mental health and well-being impacts. So just wanted to share that with y'all. And yeah, so when you have a chance, take the survey, maybe just afterwards what might be good. And let me know what you want to hear, what you care about, and we can keep readdressing like what people are caring about as we go. And there's also a directory that you can sign up for too, if you would like to be able to reach out to each other. So I would like to expand that as much as possible. So I've talked enough. I would love to hear from Rachel Brashear. Would you like to come up on stage? All right, come on. Yeah. By the way, this is being recorded on video. Afterwards, the discussion will not be. I don't want whatever's said in this room to leave this room, so please just know, like, if there's anything being shared in here, respect people's privacy. But that's the reason we're not recording after the discussion. So, all right. How you doing, Rachel?
I feel like I have to make an announcement. You might have heard me coughing. I do not have COVID. I do not have the flu. Just getting over bronchitis. So, also my voice normally doesn't sound like a munchkin. Maybe it does.
I didn't even notice, to be honest. So Rachel, let's see. How can I introduce Rachel? There's a lot of things I could say.
Can I turn more?
Yeah, let's turn. We'll cheat out. So maybe I did too much, actually. There we go. So Rachel, first and foremost, I collaborate with her on a few different projects. So she's been in Major Tomboys with me. I think I've told you all about my all-femme David Bowie cover band. And she's played keys in that and sang vocals with that. And then I've also, she's been in my own band for my own songwriter project as well, doing the same thing, and playing accordion.
We played here once.
Great
show.
And then I've also backup sang for Rachel as well. So we like to collaborate. I guess I'm just being forthright about the fact that this is a friend of mine, but I also have a lot of really awesome friends, and there's a reason.
We should all be friends.
We should all be friends.
On the record, we should all be friends.
But Rachel is a multi-instrumentalist, and when I say that, I mean that in the best way. Like, super trained pianist, singer, accordionist, bass player, guitarist. She's being
melodica.
You're being very modest. Oh yeah, melodica.
We'll brag about that.
Yeah, we'll brag, please. Honestly, and she's gonna, don't blush, but virtuoso on this stuff. Seriously amazing player and singer. So please check out. She's also a singer-songwriter. You might have heard her music playing a little bit earlier when the doors opened. But also, you teach at Portland Community College, several classes there, and And I'm not going to say more. I'm going to ask you. That's my first question. Can you tell us a little bit about your background as a musician and music educator, and maybe more?
Sure. So I always feel like I've lived 10 different lives. So I'm going to try to not be too long and complicated with this. But so I grew up, my parents were both professional musicians. And my dad's a professional guitar player and my mom is a professional bass player, which is awesome, especially that my mother did that for my whole childhood. But also, you can imagine, challenging. But it gave me the opportunity to get to know the music industry just like as a second nature thing, because I was just around it all the time. My parents were on road shows, or they were in the studio and we would go with them, or we ended up moving to Branson, Missouri. Does anybody actually know about Branson, Missouri? That's where I lived from the age of 4 or 5 to 18 till the day I turned 18, by the way.
I feel like I know of Branson because of The Simpsons.
Yeah,
that's how I know. Okay.
So, but before that, my mom plays music because my grandpa was a Western swing musician in Oklahoma and was in the Western Swing Hall of Fame, which is pretty exciting for my grandpa.
That's awesome.
And then my uncle was also a pretty successful musician. And so my mom came up in that and was really encouraged by that and took lessons with them and then started playing with them when she was like a little kid. So it gave me this like beautiful thing to look to that was just normal to me, which I understand and respect is so special and unique, that I had that to look to. But with that came all of the baggage and the burdens of her life as well. And her eventual decision to not do it anymore as well, because she just was like fed up. By the time she was my age, 43 years old, I think she decided to retire from music because she was just so tired of being the only woman on stage that wasn't in front in a sequin dress on the microphone, you know? So that's kind of a unique background that I try to be really thoughtful of, is not being totally normal. That gives me maybe two different viewpoints of that same thing, of like one that's very positive and then one that's also so jaded. Mm-hmm. So that's kind of an interesting background that I came up with. And then living in Branson, my parents would make my siblings and I perform with the shows and in the bands. And so by the time I was 16, I was already gigging and paying bills by playing piano in the lobby and then playing in little shows. And then at night I would like try to play my little fake Joni Mitchell folk songs at the coffee shops and stuff like that. So I was in it.
You were paying bills like for your family? Is that what you mean?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
I mean, I was paying my own bills, and then I was completely detached, dropped out of high school to do this and everything.
Wow.
So
I didn't even know that. So.
Yeah, I know. It's in the vault. This is in the vault, Renee. Yeah.
We're digging up the vault tonight.
Many lives ago.
Yes.
Yeah. So that's like, and this was in the 90s, late 90s. And so I had some girlfriends that were into music, but it was so much the boys club then. Mm-hmm. And in the professional world too, that I was exposed to, seeing my parents, my mom was always the only musician on stage that was, on level with professional musicians and like getting the pay that hopefully the rest of the band was getting. So yeah, it's a weird background.
Yeah. And I forgot to say, like, the topic is inside the boys club, and I brought Rachel here for a few reasons for this topic. And a big part of it is this actually bleeds into the themes in your music. Can you talk about that a little bit? Like,
yeah, it's like a fast forward.
Yeah. I wasn't going to ask it till later, but I just did.
No, it's true. I mean, it's just who I am, 110%.
Yeah.
Like, for so long, I feel like I was not giving myself permission to have those feelings and be those things. Because when I first started out as a teenager, I was mad at the way boys were treating me all the time, and men and other women too, unfortunately. So I got really bitter, and I think people didn't like me. And And there were people who didn't want me in their band, boys who were like, we don't want you in your band because well, blah, 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 whatever the reasons were, which were bullshit, totally, you know. Literally, like I wrote on my Instagram this story about like there were these guys in this band that played at the same coffee shop as me. And one of them told my friend, I don't like her because she's a better guitar player than me.
That's exactly what I was thinking. I said it. I whispered it.
Like that like made me who I am today, you know, to have someone say that to me and make me feel like you're not allowed in this space. Or like somehow me striving for excellence is offensive to you. And that's just been, I've like, I tried to move away from it. I tried to rise above and be like, don't write songs. That's trite to just like make your songs about this or something. Write about more complex things. But ultimately, like, this is my story. This is who I am. And I know I'm not alone in that.
Yeah.
You know?
Wow. Yeah.
Sorry, did I answer your question?
No, you answered all the questions, so I don't have anything else.
Okay.
I'm just kidding. Let's see. I was going to ask you, how has being a woman shaped your experience in the music industry? But you just answered that already. But you can say more if you wanted. Is there anything else you want to say about that? You can say it more throughout the interview, too.
Well, you know, more, I don't know. Just like, do you want me to talk more about my story?
Sure. Yeah. So I had, again, I'm skipping around a little bit, but the thing I brought you in because I highly regard your playing and teaching and your experience in the industry. I talked about how many things you play and so well as well, but also you're really outspoken about it. And I think, you know, I had to have you. In fact, you know, full disclosure, I had, you know, we had coffee, or I guess went to Sad Valley one day, like, and we, it's a bar. And we were talking about this topic. This is before Night Owl was born. And it was one of the reasons why I wanted to do this, because of our conversations that we had. So yeah, tell me a little bit more about, what else would you say shaped you, as a woman coming up in the industry?
I think that I always felt this is like a big thread for me that I know we've talked about, and something that I'm not like trying to lecture about it, but like I want to talk about it with people, and I want to get feedback and know how other people think about it, because to me the thing that just makes me lie awake at night is that I feel like the values of what is good in this industry have all been dictated by people who have ignored us. And my personal, like, I'm trying not to do group therapy here, but like,
no, I'm okay. You can, please.
I'm going to be real. I'll be real.
I'll explain more about that later. I'm a very open person. I want you all to feel like you can be open. And I cry all the time too. So I do. And so, no, it's not that I don't want that. I'm saying that I do want this group to be solutions focused, and I'm not a therapist. That's it. So, but I think that if you ever wanted to talk, you could, or something. And I would hope that you could feel open to do that. So hopefully no one took that the wrong way. Go ahead.
So the feeling that, why am I trying to appeal to some standard that doesn't even take into account who I am, my identity, my viewpoint? I didn't decide this is the standard. Mm-hmm. So why should I be trying to adhere to it? So I think when I was kind of thinking about my timeline of my life, so when I'm young and in my 20s, my perspective was like, well, I just need to be better than them. I just need to be better than the boys, and then problem solved, right? And it didn't work because I couldn't win at being something I'm not, and being good at something that deliberately excluded so many parts of what make me good, you know. And that is something that like keeps me awake at night, that I'm thinking about all the time, is like, what is this? That's the solution I want, is that there's enough of us, or enough voices, alternative voices, and we're changing that standard to be truly inclusive. Does that? I'm
so glad you said that. Actually, that was a later question, so now I have to let's talk about that. I was going to say though, like, you saying your solution at first was to be better than them. I have also, like, I remember being younger and thinking that too, and thinking that's what I wanted. And partly too, because I have, my parents are also musicians. They met at music school, at a really nice music school, Eastman in New York. And my dad got a jazz degree and my mom got an elementary school music degree, which is something that, is a little telling in itself. Like, she didn't gig, she taught. Like, she went and there were only like 3 tracks for women at that time, to go, like, teaching or nursing or, caretaking of some kind. But, and she decided she wanted to be a teacher and did elementary school music or whatever. And my dad has always gigged and taught at a high school, taught, percussion and stuff like that. And been like in the symphony and stuff like that. And it's pretty, and he just did so much more. And I think, and then the men in my family, my brothers, my 2 brothers, both got music degrees. And I didn't. And I still feel like I regret that a little bit, because like I did music. I've always, and I think that, that formed a little bit of my attitude too, is like, I think that I found later on in life that I really did try really hard to like gain the approval of my dad and my siblings, my brothers, by trying to be a good musician. But didn't always feel like that worked. And so it's interesting you brought that up. You're making me think about my own past about that. So yeah.
I feel that. I feel like there have been plenty of times where I was just like thinking about it today. Like, it didn't matter how great I got at something. It was never going to be enough,
Yeah. No, that's a really great point. And I think a lot of people feel that way. I do want to ask, so, and I know this is part of it when you were talking about changing the standards, and I want to get back to that, but I'm going to ask the question, what are some ways you've thought about how to make sure there are more women and gender expansive people represented in the industry?
Only work with them, hire them, work with them, make friends with them, call them. Like, I mean, you say that like it's easy. I'm sure we've all been trying to do that, right? Mm-hmm. But that doesn't change the fact, like, who's doing a lot of the booking, who are a lot of the engineers, who own the venues, Mm-hmm. So like that's the ideal, but probably moving to a different question you're going to ask me later. I have been very like empowered by being a teacher, mm-hmm. Not to adhere strictly to the gender role of that, but because where I teach is so beautiful and inclusive, and I see this diverse group of people, that gives me hope, because I see that maybe it's a little pocket, but it's a real thing. It's a real pocket. So for me, at least the stage I'm at in my life I feel like that's the only place I'm really making a difference. Mm-hmm. I don't necessarily feel like when I'm gigging, I'm making a difference anymore. I feel like I'm screaming into the void most of the time.
I'm going to turn into a therapist for a second. Say more about that.
Well, I feel like I write about this stuff a lot, and it is confrontational, or at least it's challenging. Mm-hmm. And even if you don't get the subtext of the song, the emotion is strong. Mm-hmm. And not everybody wants that from a night out, to go see music. So I accept that. We got to
have a whole conversation about that. About having about music that is emotional in a bar. Like, that's one thing I think that I'm
so sick of it.
Oh my God. So tired of like
doing it. I would love to hear it, but
I think it's like, why is it that everything has to be a party? Like, why can't we go and enjoy music that is emotional, that is more connective, and to me, like, a party that's not the way I connect with people. I'm at the point where I don't even drink really anymore. I haven't for a while. It doesn't really do much for me. And I like to go be moved, and I think, and still I try to, get gigs that are like, at a winery or something, and I know they want some of them to be covers, and they might like my music, but make sure you throw in some things that are upbeat. And I understand, read the room, I guess, but I'm also like, why is the room afraid of being emotional? Like if I go out to eat and see something emotional, that's a time of my life. Maybe it's just me. But anyway, we could talk about that a lot more.
I have a lot to say about that.
Go ahead.
Well, think about gender roles and how what is feminine music's emotional music is that it's weak or it's less meaningful or it's less excellent and it's whatever. Like there's so much to that I think we have not broken down that goes along with genre and goes along with venues and goes along with audiences and goes along with what people are wanting out of coming to your show. And there's so much to that I don't have any answers, but I'm still mad about that I feel like every time I go out, I mean, I'm gigging a lot less than I used to.
Me too.
And all of this stuff is weighing on me all the time. I'm like, I don't know if I have the energy for all of this to be singing a song about this kind of stuff to an audience.
I agree on that.
I'm just like, I don't have a solution, but I'm running out of energy because I feel like those are the things I don't know how to combat.
Yeah.
And other than, what we've kind of talked about before, trying to create these spaces, but I'm sure people have been trying to do this for a long time.
Yeah. I'm glad you brought that up, actually. I didn't think about the question about that, but that's a big thing for me, too. I feel you. And to me, that's very much about being inside the boys' club. Like it's very much like we don't have the energy. So then we quit or we play less or, last time at the last Night Owl, I talked about, what was it? God, I'm losing it now. If you don't see yourself, or you don't see opportunities for yourself, often if you're in an underrepresented group, you try to make those yourself. And that's what I've done a lot. And so I've started my own bands. I've started, instead of auditioning for other people's, I was in acting for a little while and I hardly ever saw roles for somebody that looks like me or has the sort of gender expression that I do or whatever. And so I've always, like, I created Renée's Queer Cabaret and I played my music for that because not only was that, it was a way for me to express myself in front of an audience that would actually watch, like, because I was able to book a theater for it, right? So, and I was sick of being in the corner of bars where it was so loud and nobody could even listen to me pour my heart out, basically. But then also, like, I mean, I was really blatant, Renée's Queer Cabaret, and that was putting myself, still felt like it feels raw still, no matter what, no matter how long I've been out, like it feels raw to still do something like that, but I had to. And it was a way for me to also like create opportunities for other queer and trans people to be able to express themselves too, because they weren't there. And so we get exhausted. Right? We get exhausted always having to like create our own things. It's like everything we do is, I had a conversation recently with one of the people that came here, but everything we do feels like it's a new business and you have to promote it and you have to it's so much labor. And so do we have that energy in the end of the day when we're in our 40s, which, it's hard to muster that up. So yeah.
Yeah. And then the questioning why? Why? What am I getting out of this? That is what I need. Not why make music ever.
No.
But why do it in these prescribed ways that supposedly lead to success that may or may probably won't work for a lot of us, right?
Yeah. And so you say hire more women or play with less men in general, like if you can.
I just don't invite them into the space.
Well, that's one way to do it. Yeah.
I'm real about it. I'm over it. I will say, I have a partner that is a man that plays with me, plays music. But, you know, I chose that person for a reason. Someone who's very thoughtful and sensitive and lets me be, you know, the dominant person in my art and my space, which is unique and a gift, you know. But outside of that, it's shocking to me how every gig something happens when I'm dealing with men that I'm like, I can't believe that guy said that, or I can't believe that sound person said that. Like every gig, I'm like, this is 2025, y'all. I don't understand how this is still happening.
For sure. But I wanted to come back. I said I would circle back.
Sorry, I'm going to go on a kvetch fest about
Oh, you're fine. I'm enjoying it. But I just wanted to, so you said to change standards to be more inclusive, but also building something we said, I don't know if you said it tonight, but we said it when we were talking about this earlier, but something you suggested to, was just to build an alternative industry and change the standards of success. I'm curious, like, if you have ideas of what some of those standards are, like, in your mind, like, do you have like an idea of what that is? Like, I would love to hear that.
Well, I think what you said earlier about, you know, embracing other musical aspects and traits and as just as meaningful as the classics, loud, fast, and complex, right? As like those have been the standards in a lot of at least contemporary music of like how to be a great player or something, or aggressive. Like a lot of these traits, like not that sometimes those things aren't cool and great, but like all the other things that music can be. On a musical level, embrace those things, and lyrically the different viewpoints, you know. So kind of addressing that, where I think I don't know, I think that's like getting down to like the minutia of music a little bit, but I think that's something that I always want to do and don't always have the time, energy, or people around me to like have those discussions without it being dominated by you know, someone like a man saying, well, you know, and blah, 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 G augmented or whatever, like being mansplained about. Like, I would like to have those in-depth, like really great music-focused conversations all the time, which is why I became a teacher, because I feel like that I care about that. I care about excellence and probing deeper in creative exploration. And I think a lot of us do, but getting to that, sometimes there's a real glass ceiling to that for us too. So I think that's one way. Is focusing on, you know, making something excellent that just, it can't be disputed, and we're all just doing it and we're too distracted to care about the other stuff, you know, but that's a big thing to achieve.
Of course. Yeah. I would love to explore that more. And in fact, that's kind of what we'll be talking about afterwards, along those lines. So, okay. So, I mean, do you know, like, what is it that, like, what are some things that have helped you be successful in the industry, if you haven't said them already? So,
am I successful in the industry is the question I always ask myself.
You wouldn't be on the stage if you weren't.
Successful as an artist, you know.
Sure.
How do I feel about that? I guess I have to give credit, like, to having a mom that was a great role model. That's been a helpful thing, and even having a dad that was pretty supportive of me. You know, I'm fortunate to have that, but determination and stubbornness, and then I've always made a point to like seek out women musicians and get to know them and work with them. Shout out people like Leah Hinchcliffe, one of my, you know, local heroes. Like, I have to give credit to those women supporting me and just existing and inspiring me. And I think that, you know, not to get sappy about it, but like that's been the thing that's gotten me through really dark times, because there have been times in my life where I didn't know anybody really that was like that, maybe just where I was in my life, or, you know, when I was like a young mom or a single mom, it was very isolating. So focusing on those inspiring people has been really great. And then spending a lot of time studying on my own and just like having this determination to know what I was doing and not leave any holes, which I think a lot of us have probably felt like we have to be twice as good. We have to be on this shit because, any little crack is going to show twice as big, so, but the plus side to that is developing those skills of like focusing on being as great as you can and how to practice and how to be good. Like I've really kept that as like a center of myself.
And I think that's like part of the question I have for you is I wanted to know what inspired you about being here tonight. I think you've said a lot that would answer that question already. But one thing that you did say when we were talking before is that it's you want to recognize, uplift each other, and set high standards. And I want you to say more about the high standards part of that.
Yeah. So as a teacher and a mom, like I feel like something I focus on a lot is learning how to see people's potential and see even more than they see in themselves and treat them as if they are that potential and give them permission and freedom to be that. Because I know that when that's happened to me, it made a huge difference in my life. I'm going to try to not cry.
Please do.
But I really believe in that. And I believe that's something that is not in most music industry spaces. Mm-hmm. I think most of the time we walk into a space and I always feel prejudged, whether I'm really small and I have a silly outfit on and I'm quiet or shy or whatever. And 9 times out of 10, I feel like this person already thinks they know everything about me and I'm not capable or whatever. So I want to be in spaces where people walk up to someone and say, "Hi, I nice to meet you," and I assume that you are capable and you're here for a reason and you know what you're doing. Like I believe in that, and that's something that I want to see. That's one thing that drew me to this as well, and to the friends that I have in this is that people who just assume that you have a right to be there,
I love that. Thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah, I mean, I feel like I thought about something earlier, and this is arguable, I guess, but I feel like when I think about your experience and I think about other people that are very trained, like musicians that belong in any room, in my opinion. I think that it's possible, like it's just the thought I had I think it's possible that the more trained you are, the more like you've gone, you've worked hard to get into that room as a woman or as a gender expansive person. I think you get more shit about all of this, that you get more discrimination coming your way, more people not believing you belong in the room, and because and the opportunities like hurt more, because you've worked that hard, and not saying it doesn't hurt for anyone to be in that position or whatever, but I think I guess that thought crossed my mind was like, if you worked that hard, you have a music degree, you're a teacher, you teach like the fundamentals of music and you play all these things so wonderfully, and yet you're still, deterred or discouraged about things and questioning if you've been successful. And believe me, I've questioned the same things, about being successful, and that's a subjective thing, right? But
yeah, like that's kind of what we're saying. Like we have to take charge of deciding what success is,
for sure,
for ourselves and our community. And
it's hard when money is wrapped up in that too. You don't always, if you're not like, I I've never made any sort of anything that could be considered a salary in the music industry, like, and anything that I have made has always been spent on something else to build the business for it.
To keep going,
or to pay out my band members or whatever. So there's nothing, like, I have never made money with music, if I was being realistic here, So I was thinking about the Inside the Boys Club topic. One of the things that I thought about is the cycle of underrepresentation. So like when you're discouraged, when your teachers are not women or gender expansive, when you don't see yourself in festivals, or you don't see yourself, or you take a class, like, and somebody's not welcoming to you or fostering an open communication about asking questions or whatever, then people drop out. People stop, coming, and then there's less women or gender expansive people around, and so
the industry,
right? And then there are, and so I'm thinking about, I'm dreaming about, like what it would be like if it wouldn't, if it wasn't like that,
Yeah, I mean, that's when I went to music school over 10 years ago now. I had one female teacher in my 4 years, getting my bachelor's, and there I was a guitar major in the beginning, and there were two other like non-male identifying people, and the whole grade that I had, like that was my experience. It was bleak, and now I teach at PCC, Music and Sonic Arts, yay. Yeah. And my classes are not like that. And every day I show up and I walk in that classroom and I'm like, there's so many trans people here, and there's so many people of color, and so many, like, it's amazing.
It's exciting.
Class diversity, like, I find that so inspiring, and I really feel like that's a glimmer of hope to me. Like, and I feel like it's changing our industry, that these people are going through this program and coming out the other side, or going through and then getting a job before they even graduate, which is great. Like that, not to like steal this and turn it into my Save Music and Sonic Arts campaign.
I was about to, so go ahead.
But I really believe that, like, that I see hope in that. And I don't know, does anybody go to Music and Sonic Arts at PCC or take classes there at Cascade Campus? Like, PCC is trying to cut the program, and that's where I work. So I have a personal reason for caring about it, but not just my own job, but because of what we're talking about. Like, I literally stay up at night just like thinking about what students tell me about how, I have students tell me this changes their lives. It has saved their lives, particularly a lot of trans students. And that to me is like, we have to be fighting for something like that has this power and is giving marginalized people this access to a career path that they've dreamt about, that they've been excluded from. And that's happening right now. So if you want to help us fight for our program, you can always talk to me about it, email me, or there's ways to sign up to volunteer, but we're still fighting really hard to change their mind about it. But
yeah, so I'm part of the program, but Rachel told me about what was happening, and being on the Music Policy Council through Music Portland, I brought that to the Music Policy Council because I had just attended the Music Policy Forum in Seattle. And it was my first time being at a conference like that, where people talked about different issues in the music industry and how we can improve conditions. And I really recommend, if you care about making changes, like being a part of that. It's really cool. And I was there, and the thing that stuck out to me the most was workforce development. And I was like, okay. And a lot of people are like really focused on kids and trying to like create a pipeline for kids to come up in the music industry. And obviously that's very important, but I think about the people coming out of college, like the most, like 18-year-olds, and older, and even including myself, being 42. I feel like that's something that we need so much. And especially I think in Portland, where like, where I feel like there's not a lot of music in schools, or not as much. I come from Dallas, Texas, and it's competitive. Like the band programs are huge, and it's like there's so much money in them that it's actually kind of ridiculous. And so I was in those programs, and then I came here and I was like, wow, like I'm so surprised. I'm sad that Rock and Roll Camp for Girls is gone. Like that's that chapter that was here. If somebody here wants to open that up again, I'm sure you could. But like, so I'm digressing a little bit, but workforce development is the point. And so when I heard that this program was closing and realized that within the city limits of Portland, this is the most affordable place to get an associate's in music, or even a professional music certificate, I was it made me really sad, and partly for personal reasons. I always wanted to go through that professional music certificate program, and I never did. And then Rachel happened to ask me to be on the advisory board for the Music and Sonic Arts program, and so I met with everyone, talking about what's some of the like catalog stuff for next year and like what that's going to look like. But also I've done some protesting and gone to the board meetings to try to save this program. And then I was like, well, screw it. I'm going to take the program if this is my last chance. I was surprised it let me sign up, but I did.
You can still enroll in classes, but
you can't still.
You can't declare the major anymore.
You can't. And so, but they will allow you for like 6 years.
If the classes are running, you can enroll.
Right. Okay. I didn't know that. Okay. That's good. But I'm still, I wanted to take it. So now I'm, as a student inside, seeing that there are students from like all walks of life there, all ages, and
senior auditing,
seriously,
18-year-olds out of college.
It's very exciting to see, and we need that, because PSU is also wonderful, but it's still like it's not as affordable, right? And then I know there's Clackamas Community College just outside of Portland,
and I think those places just don't have the same sense of community.
Yeah,
I mean, I can't say that for certain, but I feel like the program we have is unique because of its location, and the Portland music community is really vibrant. There's a lot of people here who want that, so it's become this sanctuary. So if it's not there, what are we going to do?
Yeah.
How are we going to maintain this? And that's something Renee and I have been talking about. Like,
yeah, I don't mean to go on a tangent, I guess, but I think about that, and I think about you mentioning how many trans people are in the program, especially. I'm like, wow, like, we need this really badly. And so if you are at all inspired to help save that program, it really is like a piece of like the puzzle that needs to stay. Anyway, let me
email the PCC board of directors.
I also would love to hear from there are a couple people here that I think went to Clackamas Community College. I'd love to hear what it's like there as well too. So talk to us about that too. So anyway, okay, let's wrap this up. I just want to ask you, this has been wonderful. Thank you. What's your next project? Where are you playing next?
Oh, I forgot to look at all the dates. I'll try to remember. I'm playing Thursday at the Blue Diamond, sitting in with my friends Leah Hinchcliffe, Ward Griffith, and Sonny Hess. Anybody know who they are? Sonny Hess is a great blues guitar player and plays a lot of originals and covers. Leah Hinchcliffe is a stellar bass player, and Ward Griffith is an amazing drummer. So all woman identifying band.
Sweet.
And it's just a blues night at the Blue Diamond, but it'll be really fun. And then I'm playing with a mostly female identifying klezmer band, but we did add Aaron on bass.
Aaron's allowed.
On I think it's December 14th, we'll be announcing it, and it's going to be like a first night of Hanukkah party.
Oh, sweet.
With Alicia Jo Rabins leading the band, who's an amazing, strong feminist voice in the Portland area, who wrote a song series. I'm always plugging her song series because I love it. Women of the Torah, stories from their own perspective. It's really powerful. So we're going to play that Hanukkah party December 14th.
Cool.
I'm not playing my own music anywhere right now because I need to work on new stuff, and I'm just really raw. for all the reasons we've been talking about tonight.
Understandable. Real quick, how was Leah's thing? Can you tell them about Leah's podcast?
Yeah, I love plugging all these amazing things.
Yeah.
So Leah Hinchcliffe started a podcast with another woman named Mariana, and I'm so sorry I don't remember her last name, but you can look up the podcast. It's called Music, Women, Power. Make sure I get it in the right order, which is the name that Leah said a 10-year-old student, little girl, gave her for their podcast. Because she's like, what should we name our podcast? She said, it's simple. Music, Women, Power. But she's doing interviews with local musicians, and it's really great. They just released the first one with Sunny Hess, and then the November 20th, I remember her dates here, LaRonda Steele's interview comes out. And so if you know who LaRonda Steele is, she's an amazing local musician. So Leah,
awesome.
Check out Leah's podcast too.
Sweet. Yes. And if remind me, I'll do a follow-up email with some of the survey stuff that people fill out. And I'll continue to email anyone, more, podcasts or groups to be a part of if you want. So, thank you, Rachel. We are going to everyone give Rachel a round of applause, please.
Thank you very much.
We're going to. This is the last call because for the bar because Leah has to go home to her daughter. So if you do need something at the bar, can they get something real quick? Cool, that's awesome. Also, while you're doing that, so we're going to take 5 minutes. I'm going to have Shay back there play "The Things You Forgot," which is a song of Rachel's. Yeah. So we'll hear one of Rachel's songs. Take 5 minutes to listen to that. Get yourself a drink, and also I'd like to kind of create a circle with the chairs in the room so we can have a discussion together. So let's do that and take a few minutes. Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. Yeah. Just because this is a good place to talk about this song and what it's about. So this is about what we were talking about earlier about trying to set myself to standards made by someone else that have nothing to do with, actually what I think is good and valuable. And, having to kind of sell yourself in a way to make music. So the title, "The Things You Forgot," is I tried to keep all those elements, those feminine elements that have been forgotten in music. And I tried to be hard, but I just couldn't help it when it came out soft. So that's kind of the chorus of the song, just so you know.
Okay. Thank you all. All right, let's take a break.
It's kind of weird to be on the lights talking, just we can just be down there, right?
Yeah, we are now. We could.